Beware of falling iguanas.
Well, they don't find cold. They're just asleep when it's cold.
Blizzards left cold by the recent South Florida cold snap. Superintendent search.
By a majority vote, the next superintendent of schools of Miami-Dade County, Florida is Dr. Jose L. Dotres.
Miami-Dade School Board picking their next leader. And U.S. troops could be on the move.
Nobody wants to see another war. Nobody wants to see another conflict. But if our NATO allies need some support, we want to make sure they know we're there for them.
As Russia's president looks for a comrade in Cuba. These stories and more coming up on Newsbreak.
Hello, South Florida. I'm Anya Joseph.
And I'm Zitlali Solache. Today is Tuesday, January 25th, 2022.
From the South Florida Media Network's Biscayne-based studios in North Miami, this is SFMN Newsbreak.
A super late night in the superintendent search. Members of the Miami-Dade School Board have made their selection to replace Alberto Carvalho. It wasn't exactly a 9-to-5 day for the board members who made their final vote just before 11 p.m. last night.
The network's Julian Davis is in the control center to introduce us to the new superintendent.
As Miami-Dade School Superintendent Alberto Carvalho nears the end of his tenure, the board held a vote late last night to select his successor. Out of 16 applicants, 3 candidates, Dr. Jose Dotres, Rafaela Espinal, and Jacob Oliva, were interviewed in person for the position. After interviews, the board voted 6-3, selecting Dotres as Carvalho's replacement.
By a majority vote, the next superintendent of schools of Miami-Dade County, Florida is Dr. Jose L. Dotres. Congratulations, Dr. Dotres.
Dr. Dotres, who's currently Collier County's deputy superintendent, has already spent decades serving Miami-Dade schools as a teacher, administrator, and assistant superintendent. Carvalho is expected to leave her new job in Los Angeles next month. In the control center, Julian Davis, South Florida Media Network.
During these cool days, South Florida needs to watch out for falling iguanas. Yes, falling iguanas. Yesterday, Sonia Pascual posted her Instagram that 2 immobile iguanas. The cooler temperatures around the 40s across South Florida cause the iguanas that reside here to slow down or become immobile during these times. They may even fall from trees. We are encouraged not to approach them as they will move when the sun gets out.
Miami Police Department is looking for suspects after releasing video of a paintball shooting near Bayfront Park. According to police, on December 21st, 3 suspects shot a round of paintballs and bullets at a vehicle in Biscayne Boulevard and 9th Street. This left the female driver with minor injuries and a shattered passenger side window. For any leads, you can call the Miami PD.
Parkland school shooter Nicholas Cruz is back behind bars this morning following a brief trip to Broward County Courthouse for a hearing. Lawmakers yesterday discussed any motions ahead of the jury selection for Cruz's upcoming trial. The judge ruled Cruz's Instagram post can be shown during this penalty trial, stating he had no exception of privacy when it comes to photos. His sentencing trial is set to begin on February 21st.
On the brink of possible U.S. troop deployment over the situation in Russia, Russia's president reaches out to Cuba. Vladimir Putin making a phone call to Cuban leader Miguel Diaz-Canel. The news confirmed yesterday by both Cuban-run media and the Kremlin. Putin discussed what he calls a strategic partnership with Cuba. Meanwhile, as many as 8,500 U.S. troops has been put on alert for possible deployment.
As CNN's Britt Conway reports, it's all because of Russian troops stationed near Ukraine's border.
Glimpses of day-to-day life in Ukraine as the threat of invasion looms. More than 127,000 Russian troops have amassed at the border, waiting on word from Russian President Vladimir Putin. But war began here nearly 8 years ago, when Russia annexed Crimea, which has a major port on the Black Sea. Russian-backed separatists also took control of the Donbas region, an ongoing conflict that's claimed some 13,000 lives. But with Russian troops at the border, fear that this war will escalate. As many as 8,500 U.S. troops have been put on heightened alert for a possible deployment to Eastern Europe, the Pentagon said Monday.
They'll come from bases throughout the United States, and they'll be, if they're deployed, they would deploy as part of the NATO response force.
U.S. officials say there's still room for diplomacy.
We obviously want to see that succeed, but we've also seen Vladimir Putin add to his force capability, so he has shown no signs of de-escalating, quite the contrary, and I think it's something we're all watching with great concern.
Concern and uncertainty.
Nobody knows what's in his head right now. We don't believe that he has actually made a decision for another invasion, but he is increasing his option. We want to make sure that he fully understands the consequences should he incur again. Nobody wants to see another war. Nobody wants to see another conflict. But if our NATO allies need some support, we want to make sure they know we're there for them.
I'm Britt Conway reporting.
Burning love blossoms in the strangest places, even in the midst of a wildfire evacuation.
That's still ahead, and so is this story.
There were quite a few just littered throughout the sidewalk.
Just like in Miami Beach, disturbing anti-Semitic flyers are now popping up on the other side of the country. Don't go away, Newsbreak will be back in 2 minutes.
Hey, Dad. I need your help asking Jessica to prom.
Of course. Love is like the ocean. You have to tread the
Oh,
waters.
Dad, that's not the kind of help I needed. Hey, Jessica. Will you go to prom with me?
Yes.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care can't wait to share their first with you.
Whether it's advice on managing your anxiety or tools to help you stay grounded, Coping-19 provides a range of resources and self-care tips to help you cope with this pandemic. We can help. Find the resources that work best for you at coping-19.org.
Being prepared is a part of who you are, but it's especially important in the case of a disaster. Be informed about possible emergencies in your area. Make a plan that covers where you'll go in an emergency. Build a kit with the things you need to survive. There's no one more capable of planning for your situation than you. Start your plan today. Go to ready.gov/myplan.
Yo, Scott.
Hey.
I'm heading out, man. You want to ride?
No, I got my car, but I actually really need to go to the bathroom.
Oh, you know what? I was just in there. The line is like 10 people long.
You know, I think I'll just...
Dude, are you okay?
You wouldn't believe what I was just thinking. I am definitely buzzed.
Yeah.
I think I will take this, and I will take that ride home.
Smart man.
Did you see how that dog was looking at me?
Anti-Semitism across the country. What started as words of hate in South Florida are now spreading across the nation. Similar anti-Semitic flyers that appeared in the Miami Beach area on Sunday were also found across South Francisco.
Residents were horrified to find the disturbed flyers at their home doorsteps. The flyers were inside a plastic bag and weighted down with rice. To prevent them from blowing away, each of the pamphlets contained a message stating the entire COVID agenda was Jewish.
Make sure that law enforcement investigates and gets to the bottom of exactly what was going on.
The anti-defamation leaders say they are aware of the extremist group behind the flyers and ask for anyone who finds them to immediately report them.
A California couple turned tragedy into love. The Caldor fire burned thousands of acres, forcing towns near Sacramento to evacuate. Holly Schlump and Tim Warren were brought together during this evacuation, and after a few months later, they plan to spend the rest of their lives together.
That's all the time we have for Newsbreak. I'm Anya Joseph.
And I'm Zitlali Solache. Get more news anytime at sfmn.fiu.edu. Okay, they said you're done.
Back 8,500.